In one of the most surprising moves of the entire NBA season, the Brooklyn Nets have parted ways with their head coach, Kenny Atkinson. What is going on, y'all? 5 Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA, and here to talk about this breaking news because it could potentially be something that could benefit the Chicago Bulls. So if you're an NBA fan, guys, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Real close to 10K subs. Really trying to hit that. Would appreciate it if you guys support the channel. And also follow me on my social media links down below and on the screen. Best way to reach out to me right on there as well. So with that being said, let's talk about this because something isn't adding up. So let's first talk about this firing because it makes no sense at all, okay? Everybody and their moms knew this was a lost year for the Brooklyn Nets. When I say lost, I mean we knew when they got KD and Kyrie this summer, they weren't going anywhere this year because of Kevin Durant's injury. He was not expected to return until next season. And so this was just supposed to be a development year to see what the other guys on the Nets can do, like a Karis LeVert, who's blossomed in front of our very eyes, like a Spencer Dinwiddie, who had a near all-star type season so far. And Kyrie Irving obviously was hurt a lot this season, but when he played, he was phenomenal. And so for Kenny Atkinson, this was just supposed to be, a free year, but instead, now with the Nets actually being in the playoffs, if they started today, the 7th seed, yeah, I get it, they have a less than a 500 record, but that just speaks to how bad the East is, not really the Nets themselves. The Nets decided to get rid of him. So this is absolutely not performance related because you don't have your 2 best players. You definitely don't have your best player for the entire season. And you don't have Kyrie Irving for the majority of the season. He's been out for a lot and he's out for the rest of the season. And you, as Kenny Atkinson, are able to take, the team without them and still compete for the playoffs, okay? Like I mentioned, 7th in the West right now as we speak, 28-34, and you fire him? Are you kidding me? And so to me, again, there's absolutely something going on here. Obviously, when the news broke, I believe Woj and Shams tweeted about this, and I tried to see if they would give the reason, and basically Woj tweeted saying, the Nets, Kenny Atkinson had met with the GM Sean Marks, and they basically talked about how their relationship had run its course, okay? And it was time to part ways, but they would maintain a close relationship even after. And so to me, this is either one of 2 things, okay? This is either Sean Marks has an issue with Kenny Atkinson, all of a sudden something happened, or one of the players, Kyrie or KD, because they are the only ones that have the cachet to be able to go to the GM and front office and say, yeah, I don't want this coach, okay? So to me, it's one of those 2. If it's KD and Kyrie doing this, this means that they have a coach in mind for next season that they want, which, again, to me, I don't know why they couldn't just wait until the season was over if that was the case. Or it's the front office with Sean Marks or ownership or somebody saying they have an issue now with Kenny Atkinson. Something happened basically behind the scenes we don't know about, okay? With that being said, this is the perfect opportunity to pounce on a coach like Kenny Atkinson for the Chicago Bulls because the Bulls have the worst head coach in the NBA currently. Yes, he is the absolute worst in Jim Boylan, and I want him out, preferably right now, but if that doesn't happen, certainly by the end of this season, and I want the Bulls to go after Kenny Atkinson because Kenny Atkinson is one of the best coaches for rebuilding teams. Let me show you a little bit about his coaching record here. We see on the board, Kenny Atkinson's been the head coach for the Brooklyn Nets for 4 seasons, okay? First season, complete rebuilding team. I mean, it was a garbage roster, 20-62, no playoffs. Makes total sense, right? Year number 2, need to see a little bit more improvement, even though the roster wasn't still that great, 28-54, so an 8-game improvement. So we'll take it. It's progress. And then last season, we all remember D'Angelo Russell becomes an all-star. They break out. A lot of people Most people didn't see the Nets doing that, and they get to the playoffs. They lose in the first round. That's fine, but the fact that they get to the playoffs in just 3 seasons, phenomenal for the Brooklyn Nets. And of course, this season I spoke about it, 28-34 without KD, without Kyrie for majority of the season, 7th in the East, and you get fired. So to me, Kenny Atkinson's a great coach. He's a phenomenal coach to develop a young roster like the Bulls for sure. Like, the Bulls don't have a bad roster. I feel like people think the Bulls roster is garbage. No, the roster is not bad. It's the utilization of the roster, the lack of coaching. All of those things play a part here. The right coach would be able to have the Bulls as a playoff team. The Bulls right now in the East, they're a playoff team with the right head coach. Absolutely. I don't want to hear otherwise. I'm convinced of that. And so Kenny Atkinson would be a great hire, folks, because like I said, he works well with players, apparently up until now, and he can get the most out of guys. And so I think the Bulls should absolutely look to go after them. It would break my heart if they didn't at least take a look at Kenny Atkinson, but man, he is going to have a long list of suitors. I'm telling you right now, Kenny Atkinson will absolutely have a job next season. There is no doubt about it. He is one of the better younger head coaches. Well, I shouldn't say super young. I think he's still like 50, but he's still one of the better head coaches in the NBA, and I would love for the Bulls to go after him, folks. I mean, this would be a fantastic hire because, again, there's not a lot of coaches in the open market, and coaches like this just don't appear all that often. And so let's take advantage of a stupid decision by the Brooklyn Nets, and the Bulls should go after him. So that's just what I think, folks. Let me know what you guys think. Would you like for the Bulls to go after Kenny Atkinson? I'm going to start a trend on Twitter. By the way, follow me on there. We should do hashtag Kenny Atkinson the Bulls. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you agree, disagree. As always, thanks for watching.